you and I, my futon, fold it up and smoke it. Transgression, a progression of a war we ain't asked for. Transgression, a progression of a war we ain't asked for.
It's madness, yo. All the things that we could talk about.
Call it.
But let's talk about these urban circumstances real quick.
And basically, it's
we got this.
So,
revolutionary.
Winner's frosty hand. Muhammad is the fame's name, forever stand.
Standing on royal fusing of justice for the few, ridiculed by the pale terrorists, bent on genocidal obsession, rooted in fear of neglection and abandonment, fueled by nightmares of ancestors' jealousy.
Because at the end of the day, I still want to be able to I don't dislike George Washington.
The kind of friends I think all friends should be like my friends. My friends are the kind of friends I think everyone needs. My friends see the things at times I don't see. My friends hate the police.
What has changed?
Are deemed the criminals, and the blacks are deemed the criminals.
shut up and help.
Reflection ain't nothing but the inner child trying to see you. You gonna look? You gonna pick up that book?
Lord, keep me far from the faith. Guide me through night and day. Teach me your ways. Show me the righteous way to sway. Lord, can you teach me, please? Show me the way, I'd say. Good morning, 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 good morning. This morning, I want to talk about the disturbing case of former corporal for the Olmsted County Sheriff's Office. And I want to show that a pattern behavior when it comes to, law enforcement and how they're protected with qualified immunity, with, the blue wall of silence. And can we honestly believe in the justice system? Can we believe in accountability? Or do they look at accountability at the fact that they can count their bank accounts? That they can literally count. Is that what accountability is? Or is it, what is it? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see justice and accountability out here. What I see is injustice, but yet we keep falling for it, and I wonder, I sit here and I look at, tweets, and I look at different things that, people put out for what is going on, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to crimes between, people of color versus, white people. And then I look at the crimes, and I can tell you this, that the crime, the sentence usually doesn't match the crime. But yet, what is justice look like? And I think that's something that a lot of people need to really ask themselves. What does justice look like? What does accountability look like? Because it looks and feels different for everybody. Because I see a lot of, especially when it comes to police-involved shootings, and the police are found to be in the wrong, but yet they're still on the force. They're still out here protecting and serving our communities that they shouldn't be. And for me, that is an issue. because why should we have to deal with things like that, and especially for an occupation that we pay with our tax dollars? That's one thing that I will never understand, is the fact that we literally sit here and elect, vote for people that could care less about us, and yet we keep on putting them in positions of power and positions of legislation and executive decisions that affect us on the daily basis. You know, I sit there and there was an election in Houston, Texas for mayor, and it was a white senator from Texas, and then a U.S. Congresswoman, and she got dusted. And it's crazy to me because you see of how they push this progressive, because literally it was two Democrats versus each other, a black woman and a white man, and to see how black individuals are dissing her, disrespecting, and I'm like, wow, all for a white man though. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what is that? What does that look like? Because I can tell you right now, I don't think John Whitmore is for us. I don't think Cheryl Jackson Lee is either. But the fact that you went against something else, against our, you know what I'm saying, that looks like us, that really baffles me. Do we really want change? Do we really want to succeed as black people? Do we want to be greater than what we strive for? And I don't believe we do. But let's get into the case of Matthew Adamson. I'm going to play this video. It's about 2 minutes long, because it's worth listening to. And then we're going to go into special.
To the next breaking news story we are following, an Olmsted County deputy is now facing 8 additional sex crime charges.
Matthew Adamson is already accused of prostitution of an individual under 14 and solicitation of a child through electronic communication.
Court documents now revealing Adamson had screenshots from a camera in a changing room of the Olmsted County Adult Detention Center and material from other hidden cameras. Court documents say on November 7th, as part of his release conditions, Adamson returned home to get some personal items. He grabbed 2 external hard drives and said he was going to destroy them. Documents say his wife intervened. The hard drives revealed images of women at the Adult Detention Center, as well as hidden cameras from at least 5 separate bathroom locations between 2015 and 2019. The videos include 6 female victims. At least 2 of them appear to be minors. Authorities also found child sex abuse materials on Adamson's phone. A court date for these new charges has not been set, but Adamson will be in court via Zoom, facing those prostitution charges on January 24th.
That's, to me, they could find stuff going back all the way to 2015. That for me is a problem, for the simple fact that you literally had a Predator Watch group bust this guy last year, turn the evidence over to Rochester police, and Rochester police didn't do anything because they were more worried about the individual who busted him than about the officer that was out here committing sick acts against the community. And for the simple fact that this man even worked in the Rochester public school systems, you know what I'm saying, should really be something that people look into and look at, for the simple fact that these are our kids, you know what I'm saying? And we have sick people who are supposed to protect, who are supposed to serve, doing the same things they're supposed to be out here fighting, they're supposed to be out here catching, they're supposed to be out here preventing, and they're doing it. Make that make sense to me. Make that make sense to me. I just don't understand it. And the fact that most media coverage, there is none, and what trips me out is I made a post on Facebook, and one of the county commissioners, I tagged in it, Mark Dine, and I didn't even know that I had a relationship with this guy, and it didn't even hit until I looked at the guy's picture and seeing that I was somebody that I was meeting and trying to get help from. That's not somebody that I want to get help from when you can't even call out the wrong being done in our community, and I'm trying to go to you to help get rid of that shit that goes on in my community. So that just, to me, that already showed what up I was against. And so I really have a hard time dealing with, this is the problem why I have a hard time working with other individuals, is because of the simple fact that you have people that are more worried about their paycheck than they are about what really matters and about calling out the evils and the wrongs in our community. Because this is why I can't work with police departments and other services like that anymore, for the simple fact of they're scared to call out the wrong being done. Just like it's the same thing with in our community, right? You have people that if you call out certain things, oh, you're a snitch, you're a hater, you're this, you're that. Why is it when you're called, what did people get into this fight for? Because I know that when you know better, you do better. And we're all work of progress, right? We're all works in progress because we're supposed to better ourselves, right? Isn't this what this is about? Is bettering ourselves so that we can better our communities? Because I don't see that. I don't see people out here educating and re-educating, right? Because at this point, we literally need to deprogram and reprogram, because that's what it is. We're indoctrinated, right? We're not educated, we're indoctrinated. There's a difference, right? Because when you come out and you go against educated people, or supposed educated people, they will tell you that you drink the Kool-Aid, you're a conspiracy theorist, but literally would bring up facts surrounding what your argument is. And then they don't even have a counterattack. What they do is get disrespectful. They name call, right? Or they'll just stop responding. They'll just hide. They'll block you. That's what I deal with all the time when I call out community leaders, right? Like the Lisa Clemens, the L. Flowers, the Jerry McAfees, the John Thompsons, right? I get blocked, right? And then what's even worse is when you do it to the white people, they call your POs, you know what I'm saying? They put false charges on you, because I don't know how many times I've been to court dealing with civil or criminal for, first of all, police officers lying in police reports. Or you have people that will literally take your words out of context and make them work for them, right? But see, in the art, and that's one thing that I am grateful for, is the law, right? Because the law does allow us to do things, what's called our First Amendment, which is freedom of speech. And as long as it's not a threatening behavior, you know what I'm saying? You're not sitting here talking about because I get shit all the time with people talking about they're going to kill me. They would love to bury me on their farmland and all type, but I'm still motherfucking here. And excuse me, God, I know it's Sunday. And really, I shouldn't be cussing. That's what, oh, your delivery. Who cares about my delivery? Y'all, you need to listen to the message. Now, don't worry about my delivery. Listen to the message. There's a message there. You just got to decode it. And at the end of the day, I'm not even going to decode it anymore. I'm not even going to code it. So you have to decode it because I'm going to put it out there in plain sight when it comes to these. And the reason why I'm going to talk about this is because it's Sunday, is these pastors, the Howes, the McAfees, the Reverend Spences, the Pastor Herons, right? Those are supposed to be men of God that literally don't go by the whatever they want to call it, because they believe that because they went and got a 6-week course or they went to prison and they changed their lives, that they're men of God. No, that's not the way it goes. I'm sorry, because you got way too many Negroes that go to prison, get them little pastor, reverend certificates, and believe that they're men of God. No, that's not the way. I don't believe that's the way that it goes. And I know that that's a conversation that's probably need to go more in depth, but I feel like everybody goes to heaven because we're already living in hell, right? Because what could be worse than what we already deal with, right? Not real shit. What is worse than what we're already dealing with, right? Because you see the poor people, you see that we living in literally a fire, right? You walk outside of your house, you see killings. You pick up your phone, right? You pick up this. What do you see? You go on Twitter, on your social media app, right? You go on Instagram, you go on TikTok. I guarantee it, as you're scrolling, you're gonna see something that is traumatic, that has some kind of injustice involved, something that we literally can change if we speak up. Yeah. It's going to be insane, the fact that Rochester is about to be a shithole for rich people. Because you're already starting to see it. I was looking at that this morning, of all the property that is surrounding, for the DMC. And it's crazy to me how many businesses are going to be lost, right? Because when you look at the DMC plan and the fact that they've changed the downtown district to go all the way to 7th Street, to me already shows that the Salvation Army down there, gone, right? Y'all got to look at this. You got to look at the plans. You have to look at the plans of the DMC and then look at the surrounding land around that, because that shit's going to start to get bought up. It's either going to turn to parking lots, some kind of housing, because the U of M is going to build their campus, right? So you're going to have an influx of college students, right? Why you think the YMCA that was just sold and the property is turning into housing for who? College students, right? They're going to use that for student housing, college housing, right? Because the U of M wants to come in and build a bigger campus, a 4-year college. See, now when you're sitting here, you're listening to what's going on in these streets, and you're talking to the small business owners. You know what I'm saying? And you're trying to get a better understanding and a knowledge of how this is really going to affect our community, because it's going to affect it big time. All that little stuff that you see downtown isn't going to be there anymore. Kathy's Pub is going to be gone in the next 3-4 years, maybe even 2, because that's not something that they're going to want in that type of area. They want an upscale bar. Not Kathy's is so fucking ghetto. Why you think they've already, if you look towards on Broadway, right? North Broadway, just the downtown, and how much that's changed in the last couple of years with the YMCA closing. And then you go towards the railroad tracks. You see that building, because I swear to God, they've been building that shit for like 5-6 years. That complex that's right there across on the railroad tracks off West Center Street, off West Center Drive or whatever the hell, Civic Center Drive or whatever it's called. Yeah. As we sat there, and I drove around Rochester a lot on Friday, and I'll tell you what I didn't see that I seen a couple weeks ago was homeless people, was tents, right? So where are they going? It ain't like they're giving them housing, right? Because if you camp out in Rochester, it's a crime, it's a misdemeanor, where in Minneapolis, they just made it a public health crisis. So how is it that one city sees where we have the best hospital in the world, they see homelessness as a crime, right? But in the cities, they're seeing it as a public health crisis. Shouldn't we, as a community, as residents, want to see homelessness become a public health crisis instead of a criminality? Because they're not even seeing their own officers as criminals, but yet they'll see their constituents, their residents, their community members, all because you might not have a house as a criminal. That's criminal, but in Minneapolis, it's a public health crisis. Make it make sense to me. How do we rate as human beings where one city entity can see homelessness as a public health crisis and another city entity can see it as criminalization? They're literally criminalizing you if you're poor and homeless, right? But won't try to adjust the cost of living, won't try to really get affordable housing. They'll just criminalize you. And it'll be interesting to see, because Minneapolis also passed a resolution proclaiming racism a public health crisis. So we'll see how this homelessness one goes, because them declaring it for racism didn't do shit. But I do appreciate the fact that I hope their actions speak louder than their words, because the 14th is coming up. I think that is, what's today, the 10th? So you got Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Will they be evicting Camp Nioski? Or is it going to stay up? Because they've already broken things that they said they wouldn't do, or they wouldn't do to the homeless, right? They've already evicted them numerous times, over and over again. They've been brought to court. They've been sued. Frey said that he would end homelessness, 6 years ago? And yet we have more homeless than ever. And yet we got $1 billion coming this next year. $1 billion to fight homelessness. $1 billion. Are we going to get near ending homelessness? Or are we just going to make homelessness worse? Because wages aren't going up. And especially in Rochester, it's crazy when you literally still have employees working for $12.50 an hour. And they have 2-3 jobs just to pay rent, just to be able to afford groceries, be able to afford clothes, toiletries. It's insane. And it saddens me to see the way that we treat these workers too. It's crazy, because the place that is doing this, I literally was making that same amount 7 years ago. So they haven't even changed their wage in 7 years. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. How can people get ahead in life? Huh? If we're not, and then people wonder why it's so hard to find good employees, because people don't want to pay people shit either. They don't. And then when you do want to pay somebody something, right, what do? Inflation, right? The cost of living goes up. You have price of eggs go up, milk, sugar, the essentials go up. But yet that 9 to 5 don't go up the way everything else goes up. Because we feel it. We get taxed from Uncle Sam on our paycheck. We go get gas, we get taxed. We go buy groceries, we get taxed. We go buy clothing, we get taxed. We go buy cigarettes, taxed. Liquor, taxed. You want to go out and have a good time with your family. You want to go out, eat, taxed. You go to the movies, taxed. And what do we really see? Because our streets, we got more potholes than a motherfucker. They talking about the land of 10,000 lakes. This motherfucker need to be called the land of 100,000 potholes, right? Our education system sucks. We just had an $18.6 billion reserve that's basically gone. And we'll see this next year how it's really going to turn out. But it ain't, I don't believe it's going to be shit. Ain't nothing going to change. We're still going to be out here doing the same things that people been doing. We're not going to try to unite anybody. And that's what's sad. That's what's sad as hell, because we really need to start uniting people. You know, I've seen that a bunch of pastors from, I don't even know where they really were from, but they wrote a letter to Mayor Frey about homelessness. And, I appreciate them for doing that, because it was the right thing to do. But is that all you're going to do, is just write a letter? And are you going to confront? Because you literally, with all these over 70 churches wrote a letter to the mayor. And it's like, okay, you 70 churches could literally end homelessness. Every pastor, every church that signed this letter to Mayor Frey could literally help and end homelessness in Minneapolis. But instead, they choose to write a letter to a mayor. Why not do the godly thing and homelessness? Just think about it. 70 churches came together to write a letter. Why can't 70 churches come together to end homelessness, to end gun violence, right? To make sure nobody's not fed, to make sure everybody got food on their tables, right? Isn't that what God is about? Is about taking care of thy neighbor? So why aren't these churches caring for thy neighbors? Because aren't they neighbors? Or is it that the church doesn't see us as neighbors and sees us as their congregation, right? Because there's a difference of being seen as a neighbor and as a consumer. Because are you consuming the word? Think about it. That's all I'm asking. Think about it. I'm not asking you to believe in my ideology. I'm not asking you to believe in the things that I say. I'm asking you to learn and to go research. That's all I'm asking. Oh, that's something good. Sorry, Ashley getting off work and asked me, did I want anything? I want a bowl. Them motherfuckers be so good. Them bowls are so good. But that's literally what we deal with. You literally have 70 churches that could end homelessness, that could end gun violence, and unite a community. but instead they chose to write a letter. So again, my thing to these 70 churches is you guys will come out and write a letter to a mayor instead of coming out and do what God will do. Bring it to the streets, right? God didn't have no mega church. God preached in the streets, right? And that's what's wrong, because our foundation is our community. And if we don't have a strong foundation, everything else is shitty. And we don't have no strong foundations right now, because our churches, who is supposed to be the pilgrim, who's supposed to be the backbone of our communities, the churches, regardless if it's Black, Hispanic, white, Asian, Jewish, whatever you are, it's supposed to be the backbone of that community. It's supposed to be the village. But yet we're so divided. We're so divided because we don't love each other, right? We see some type of flaw with one each other and we hate it, regardless if it's somebody's gay, if they're trans, what religion. We don't like them. If they got a vaccine, if they didn't get vaccinated, if they support Israel, if they support Palestine. Oh, wait, do you support Ukraine? Do you support Russia? Or do you support BLM? Do you support Blue Lives Matter? Like, that's the type of shit we deal with, and it's already a divider, right? Instead of getting to know each other, we find a way to dislike somebody just because of the simple fact of maybe they don't have as much money as we do. Maybe they don't have as much education. So then we already see a reason to dislike them. How is that not slave mentality of you not even getting to know somebody, but you already dislike them because of something that maybe you've read or a lie that you have heard, and already don't like a person? Make it make sense to me. It's hard for me to really see this shit for what it really is, other than being fake, because people see fake as being real nowadays, and it's not. It's not, because if I'll tell you like this, and I know other people, I'm not the only one that says this. If they really wanted to end homelessness, gun violence, right, it would be easy. With a snap of a finger, I promise you, they would be, the overdoses, they would be able to end it just like that. I promise you, they'd be able to, just like that, with a snap of a finger. But they choose not to, because if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. Think about that. If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense, because that's what they go off of. And they'll tell you out of their own fucking mouths. Out of their own mouths, of the reason why they vote for some shit. Yeah, it's probably not the best thing, but it does make dollars, so it makes sense. I don't know how many times I've heard that from a council person. They care more about money than actual human beings. They care more about property than they care about prosperity. And we deal with it on a daily basis. We deal with it. Today's Sunday, and you got all of these people going to go up there to these churches, be praising God, and feel like they all right. And then the next day, even shit later on tonight, going to sit there and commit a sin. Going to sit there and do something that's ungodly. But yet, because they went to church today, they're going to think everything was all right. No, man, that's backwards as hell. Backwards as hell. Backwards as hell. That doesn't even make any sense. But that's the way that we are taught, indoctrinated, to think that God died for Jesus, whatever, died for our sins. And as long as that we ask for forgiveness, that everything's all right. No, everything ain't okay. That's what's wrong with us. We're so quick to turn the other cheek, right? Because when are we going to uprise? When is going to be our revolution, right? When are we going to fight back like Hamas, black people, right? Because when George Floyd got killed, right, when George Floyd died, there was an uprising. But see, there wasn't a revolution. We don't need an uprising. We need a revolution, because that's what's happening over in Israel and Palestine, is a revolution to free Palestine, right? Because if Israel really wanted to stop it, they could have. But see, they needed other people involved. And that's why they allowed that attack on October 7th, right? Because if it doesn't make dollars, it don't make sense. We're worth more dead than we are alive. Think of this. Let that sink in. We are worth more dead than we are alive. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. And it's crazy, because we see it all the time. We see it every day as a black man. We are worth more dead than we are alive. And that's sad as hell. That's sad as hell. Sad as hell. But yeah, we fall for it. We fall for it. So. Sorry, I'm over here reading thoughts and shit. Or not thoughts, tweets, my bad. But that's really just what I wanted to talk about today was, Deputy Corporal Matthew Adamson, and to see the bullshit that goes on with that. As I'm not going to leave this story alone. I'm not going to leave Rochester alone, because I'm coming, Rochester. Olmsted County. I'm coming. And I'm not coming nice, because I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to better our community. So I just want people to know that. I'm not coming to make friends. I'm not coming to be nice, right? This is a dog-eat-dog world. So remember that. I'm coming, Rochester. Mayo Clinic, because I'm definitely going to educate these people how to fight back. And that's what it should be about, education, so that we can better ourselves, right? That's what this should be about. And with that being said, y'all have a great day. Win or fail, freedom or jail, heaven or hell, wish me well.
Every day, fighting for my life. Every day, fighting for my life. Fighting for my life. Fighting for my bread. Grew from the seed you thought was rot. I think not. Fire bred desire to rise above denial. To rise from former ashes to face new trial. Trial or triumph.